Welcome all to the inaugural Global Fight Talk with my lovely, wonderful co-host, Lisa. How are we today?
I am great. I'm excited to be on here. This is our very first show together, so I'm excited.
Definitely, and we're going to be specifically looking at, as you can see in the background, an up and coming event which is going to be taking place in the boxing arena, and we're
Yeah,
gonna.
October 17th, we have Lomachenko versus Lopez, which is going to be a very exciting fight. So I can't wait to dig deep into that fight, along with other stuff, of course.
Oh, definitely. I think it's a fan's dream of sorts to see this finally come together. I mean, we've been talking about it for quite some time. So they've finally done it.
Yeah, they finally did it. They finally signed the contract. And the crazy thing about this, Lopez started fighting on the undercards of Lomachenko.
Yes.
And he's been wanting to fight Loma for the longest, and he's been calling him out. And, Loma, of course, he finds it very disrespectful. But in Lopez's, as you can see, he's
Mm.
very vicious. And both of their style is going to be, it's going to be fireworks, because Lomachenko, he's a pure boxer, but he's also a pressure fighter too. He hits you from all sorts of different angles,
Yes.
and he's just not a mover. You have different styles of boxing, and Lomo, he loves to uses his footwork and his pivots, but he also likes to hit you when he pivots and turns and uses his footwork, not just to
Mhm.
run around the ring. So that's what's going to be exciting. Now, Lopez, on the other hand, he's a pressure fighter. He loves to box. He's a boxer. I would call Lopez a boxer pressure fighter. He'll come, he uses boxing, but he's going to pressure you. So this is going to be it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to put the pressure on, and who's going to outbox who, or are they going to stand in the middle of the ring and fight? I seriously doubt Lomo will, only because it's in him, in his DNA, to move around, but it's also in his DNA not to move around. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
As you excuse me, highlighted the footwork and the range and the ability to pivot, as you say, and strike on those unusual sort of angles and stuff. That's what makes him so special and so
Yeah.
dangerous as well. Um, it's going to be fireworks. It's definitely going to be fireworks. I'm thinking, just based upon their styles, power wise. Well, actually, yeah, let's turn this into a question. Do you see this going the full the distance, or?
No, I really don't feel like this is going to go the distance. I do feel I think he's more powerful than Lomo. I think he has more of that mm, in his hands
Yeah.
than Lomachenko does. Just because, I mean, I swear he comes like 2,000%, and I'm not saying Lomo doesn't either. There's just something about Lopez. He's young, he's hungry, and he's willing to take risk, as you can see, jumping up to this fight to fight someone like Lomachenko. It's
Mhm.
very hard to find somebody who wants to fight Lomo, and this kid has been eyeing him, been wanting to fight him, and I think Lomo's going to come forward, but he has to be careful though. He has to be really careful with Lomachenko, because Lomo is very slick, and
Mhm.
if he does come forward, Lomo's going to play the matador, and he just might have to do like a sidestep or something, and he'll come and hit Lopez with 3 or 4 punches, and move around. I think Lopez, hopefully he doesn't follow him, rather than he just use his boxing, cut him off. And
Cut
I
him
think
off.
Lopez, yeah, cut him off rather than following him, because when you do try to box someone like Lomachenko, you wind up chasing them versus
Yeah.
cutting them off. So that's what I'm going to say. It's going to be very interesting to see Lopez, who is a boxer pressure. He would have to really use his footwork for this fight to get him at different angles.
I would agree. I would 100% agree. Um, it's going to be a technical. It's going to be a very technical battle, and I think for him to gain the advantage, I think he's going to really have to mix it up a little bit. make it a little bit of a
Yeah.
brawl if he can. Um,
Yeah.
and make it not as pretty as Lomo likes to make it.
Yeah,
Gritty.
I agree with you. I agree. I think at a certain point in the fight, maybe more towards the middle and later rounds, I think, past the sixth, seventh round, I think this is when Lopez should make it very ugly.
Hmm.
We haven't seen Lomachenko. Lomo has been dropped now. He has been dropped. And I would really like to see how the pressure of Lopez is going to be, and really being so grimy in there. So yeah, I'm very excited about this fight.
And correct me if I'm wrong, is he's what, 15-1, Lomo?
Yes, he is. He's well, I thought he was 15-0, but he could be 15-1. I'm not too sure, but I know he has 12 knockouts. So he has puncher power.
Yes.
There there's 3 fights that didn't go the distance, that went the distance.
Mm,
So
it's I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to it. Trustfully, it's not going to be as difficult as it usually is to watch boxing events in the UK. For this
yeah,
one, it
yeah,
can be
yeah.
tricky. Um,
Like there's fights that we get excited to see and it doesn't deliver.
mhm.
Like the Mayweather and Pacquiao fight, that fight didn't deliver. It
Well,
was
that's
almost
big.
like,
It took
yeah,
so long. That's why.
yeah, it took so long, but as far as the deliverance, how the fight went, how the fans thought the fight was going to go,
Mhm.
um, didn't go the way it did. So I'm just hoping that we don't have that incident here. I hope that this is going to be a good fight from one all the way, until it's over.
I would say so. I mean, you've got a few factors. It hasn't been that long in the baking, number one,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure we're still, there's not going to be a crowd. I take it, is there? It's still going to be all isolated in a bubble.
It's in October, so I don't think it's going to be a crowd. Which that kind of like sucks
It does. It
in a
does.
way,
Yeah.
because the crowd in, or you need to keep going, you always will hear someone in the background yelling. But
Hmm.
the great thing about it is they're gonna have they're able to hear their coaches all the way through clearly. And you can also hear the other corners coaches as well.
Yes. Yes. I think.
Yeah.
Well, how have you found the experience with no crowds?
Um, I've never been in a situation where there was no crowds, and I can imagine I wouldn't like it. To me, because it feels like it would be more like a sparring session.
Spa. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know how a fighter can prepare with no crowd, because you usually spar with no crowd, and how do you get your mental state prepared that you're going into a fight with no crowd?
It's tricky. It's to me, as you say, it's that mental preparation, as we've seen within boxing and within mixed martial arts, some people unfortunately have come out there and it literally looks like a sparring match. You
Yeah,
know,
and
it,
I've seen it. I've seen those fights even. Yeah, it just doesn't look good. So, but I think because Lomo and Lopez really don't like each other, and all that trash talking that's been going back and forth, I believe that they don't need a crowd.
yeah,
They're not going to need a crowd.
definitely, definitely. And where do you think all that is just coming from because, he's been fighting on the undercards and he's now chasing, the big dog. That's why there's this kind of level of animosity kind of thing.
I just think with Lopez, he's a go-getter, he's a risk taker, and he wants to be at the top. So sometimes fighters got to do what they have to do to get to the top. And in order to get to the top, you got to call the best one in the division. And I think
Mm,
that's what Lopez did. And, some people, if you just talk your way and don't really say much, you're not going to get that chance. Promoters want, the drama. They want the drama to build the card,
yeah.
to build the fight.
Hmm.
So Lopez gave that drama. He gave what he needed for this fight to take place. And that's why it's happening, because Lopez did what he had to do to, get that contract with Lomo.
promote it. He did the right
Yeah.
promotion. Do you,
And a lot of people, I don't mean to cut you off, but a lot of fighters who do all that trash talking usually say that they just do that just for the people, just for the crowd. But when you meet them, they're totally different than what you see.
it's that persona, as you say. It's unfortunately it's sports entertainment, isn't it? It's not just, you can't just say, okay, look at the record. Let's look at their win-loss records. You've clearly seen his last fight. You've seen the opponent's last fight. Are you interested
Hmm.
in watching it? You've got casuals. You've got people who don't, who are not even interested in the potential sport that you're trying to promote.
Right.
So we have to build storylines. We have to make characters. People have to be larger than life. Unfortunately, it's all part of the game now.
Yeah. Yeah, very. I keep watching the fights in the background, and I'm just getting hyped. I just can't wait. As much as I'm a fan, I'm a huge Lomachenko fan, and I've always been because of his footwork. But there's something about Lopez that I find very dangerous for this fight. Um, I don't know what it is. Sometimes when you're just young and hungry and you want it, you do whatever what
Yes.
you're supposed to do to get it. I think that's Lopez right now. He is
Hmm.
so hungry, and he's going to win in every aspect. I think that's he's going to want it. He's going to want to win and the exchange and the
Hmm.
boxing
Yeah.
and just everything. And there's something about him that I just think that. But I'm a Lomachenko fan. If I was a betting person, Loma just might outbox him. We don't know. We don't know.
Mm,
Loma's very smart. He's very smart.
well, okay. Question is, do you think level of competition that Loma has faced versus Lopez?
Lopez,
Yeah.
um, you know, they both still have they're still both young in the sport. Let's be honest.
Yes.
They're what, under 20 fights,
Hmm.
right?
15
Yeah.
each.
Yeah. So they're still young in their sport, but yet look where they're at.
Hmm.
As far as level of competition, as well as I know, in boxing, they feed you so you can,
Yes.
to be undefeated.
Hmm.
Um, but even what's his Rigondeaux. I thought this was going to be a fantastic fight just because Rigondeaux has great footwork just as well, but it didn't work out to be that way. We just realized how much of a great fighter Lomo is, even though Rigondeaux did come up in weight. Um, I just really think that as far as their competition, they all had faced a few, fighters as far as good competition, but
Hmm.
this is probably going to be the best for both of them, for each other.
And okay. So, do you see potential rematches and all that taking place based upon
Well,
the outcome?
I did read a clause. I did read that there is no uh,
Champions Clause.
rematch. Yeah, there's no clause. They don't have a rematch clause.
Okay.
I don't see why wouldn't they. Usually, a lot of championship fights have that rematch clause,
Yes.
but I read somewhere that there's not a rematch clause. And um, if the
Hmm.
fight was close and the fight was really really good,
Of course.
why wouldn't you want a rematch?
I'm reading behind between the lines, and I'm sort of reading into that Lomo's that confident that he's gonna do the business, that there's no
Right.
rematch champion clause needed in that there.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I said that Lopez is very powerful, but man, Lomachenko is extremely fast.
Hmm.
Extremely fast. So I can see him hitting with the 3, 4, 5 punch combination. Just
Speed
and
kills.
Lopez, speed does kill. Speed kill. And Lopez is fast, but I just think Lomachenko is faster
Hmm. Hmm.
and very smart. I mean, you watch him and sometimes I get lost in his fights because I'm just like in awe.
Yeah.
Just his movement itself is crazy, and people don't realize that footwork is a huge part of boxing, and it's just not all about your hands. Your offensive defense does not just come from your hands. Your offensive defense comes from your footwork. It's just as well gets you in and out of stuff,
Get you
and yeah, gets you in and out.
totally get you in and out. It's the foundation, it's the base, it's where the power comes from as well. It's so it's very important. And didn't he grow up doing ballet or some kind of classical dancing, or am I mixing that up with somebody else?
No. You're right. A lot of fighters do, have taken some kind of dance. Boxing is dancing,
Mm.
and I always say, if you have rhythm, you can dance. I mean, you can box. So, I would always used to ask people when I used to teach. I was like, "Hey, can you dance? You have a good two-step? Let me see it." Because if you got a good two-step, we could do some footwork. Because there's people that got two left feet, and you got to do the best you can to show them how to fight.
Definitely become a more of a defensive sort of fighter
Yeah,
potentially.
just stay in the pocket and keep your hands up high.
That's it, peekaboo style.
Peekaboo style, in and out. Yeah, don't even move your feet. You got two bricks right there.
Definitely. So we also had some fights take place a few hours ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Which was the MMA fights?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we had some good MMA fights that happened over yesterday. What'd you think about those?
Well, the card wasn't in itself packed with lots of stars, but I think overall it was a good
I
product
agree.
for a fight island. You'd have thought that it would be stacked. Well, not necessarily stacked, but you thought there would have been a lot more sort of name value presence on there. But within the current climate, etc., you can only get what you can get, basically.
What do you think about the Holmes and
Whoa, Holly looked
Holly? She
amazing.
looked great. I was really surprised. I thought it was going to be a different fight.
So did I.
I really did, and it's crazy. And I hated the fact that she just kept following Holmes, like in a circle, and they were
Yeah.
just like going in a circle, and
Yeah.
I'm like, why? Cut it off.
It was just like a clockwise circle,
That's all. That's all it was.
and as you said, as you highlighted earlier, you can't chase fighters down. You have to cut them off.
Yeah.
And she did that for 5 rounds. She showed a lot of heart, Aldana, but and the way it was built up, she's an excellent boxer and this and that. And I was thinking, okay, is she going to get in real close and do something crazy with Holly, or she just, I don't know, she just kind of froze, maybe? I don't know. I can't really explain what happened in her corner.
Yeah.
I don't think did her much. They were very honest and saying, okay, you've lost this round, you've lost that round. But in regards to strategy,
they didn't give her a good strategy at all. At all. And I don't know what happened, which was sad because I really do like, I like the young lady.
mm-hmm.
She could box last night.
We didn't see any evidence of it. She caught her with a few shots.
Yeah, a few shots. She caught her with a few. Now let me ask you. Let's go back to this Loma fight because I was looking. Is Lomachenkos a southpaw?
Yes.
I think so
Yeah.
because Lopez is a southpaw too, and this is going to be interesting. Two southpaws. Because I'm looking at this fight right now, and I see Loma in his southpaw stance.
Yeah.
So, and I was just curious. I wasn't too sure if Lomachenko, but I think Loma does switch back and forth.
I was going to say he does have the ability, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has the ability to switch, which I like that. Like Terrence Crawford, he has the ability to switch back and forth.
Yeah, Terrence. Yes. Another destroyer.
Yeah. But yeah, look, I just can't wait. I keep looking at this back here, and
it's not long. It's not long. It's what, 40?
October 17th.
Yeah,
like in 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks, we're gonna be watching this fight, and I can't wait. But while we're waiting for those fights, after this is over with, we got another fight coming up. Something that you and I spoke about the first time. We got think this is going to happen sometime next year, the beginning of next year. But we have Pacquiao and Conor McGregor.
I've heard this. Oh gosh. Yeah.
You know, and people keep asking me what my thoughts were between those two fighters, and I said, I'm gonna tell you like this: Pacquiao's not gonna carry McGregor like Mayweather did.
I was no.
Pacquiao's gonna give him the business.
Yeah, straight.
Yeah.
No chase.
No chase. Yeah, no chase, no nothing.
Trustfully, this is just some kind of marketing foolishness because who would want to really? I don't think much. Well, I don't know. I guess people would want to watch it, but
people are gonna watch it just to watch it. Right
just
now,
to watch it. Yeah.
Right now, you know, sports are not going on, especially in your local city. You know, there's no fights going on other than right now the UFC fights. You know, there's always a UFC fight every week. People are dying for boxing. They want to see more boxing. So whether you want to watch it or not, people are going to watch it. I'm going to watch it with one eye. You know,
very quick.
looking, yeah, what's going on here? But I think Pacquiao is just going to finish him a lot sooner than he did with Mayweather. And then we got another interesting fight that's going to be coming up sometime next year. It's Floyd Mayweather versus the YouTube sensation Logan Paul.
Logan, indeed. Which he's had 2 fights now, hasn't he? You know, one that YouTube against KSI, and then he did the other one over in America, wasn't it? And he had some professional fighters as undercards.
Yeah, he was there on some. Yeah, he was on the undercard. I think it was De La Hoya's card or whatnot. You know, Logan, he can box. You know, I've seen him. He really does train hard. But to me, Logan's just a advanced. Advanced amateur fighter.
Amateur. Oh yes. There's no getting away from that. No getting away from that.
So I wouldn't call him a novice. You know, he looks, you know, he has good technique.
Yes.
I would say he was advanced amateur fighter. Hey, whatever you need to do to make that money, whoever fights Mayweather always, you know, comes out on top. And I would take that money too. The opportunity arose. I'm like, what, to make 10 million, 15, 20 million?
This
okay.
is it. I mean, we go from McGregor, we go 10 I can't even pronounce his name, that the Japanese fella. Tensation.
Yeah, don't even. I don't like saying names because I start chopping them up.
Yeah, we know. I mean, and that was like, it was. I mean, what were your thoughts on that? I mean, I've watched that the very short little fight that which it was, and the punch that he definitely got touched up and stuff, but his reactions just seem to be really exaggerated. I don't know.
Well, you know, here's the thing. That guy is a lot smaller than Mayweather. And, you know, I'm not too sure if he was a kickboxer, Muay Thai fighter.
Yes.
But, you know, a lot of people thought that he was going to bring it. But, you know, Mayweather, he really defined not getting hit. Like, if there was a picture on defense in the dictionary, that would be Mayweather. So it's no matter how good you are, and you know, people hate Mayweather so much that they want anyone to see, you know, them to hit Mayweather, but it's pretty hard. First of all, he's, as an amateur fighter, he's had about 200-300 fights, and then as a professional fighter, he's had over 40 fights. So he's very experienced, very knowledgeable, very skillful, and has an eye for it in the ring. So I don't know what people expect. And he's 41. He's still young. He hasn't taken a lot of punishment in the fight game. So yeah, he still has it. He still trains. You know, he still keeps himself in shape.
Yes.
So yeah. I mean, I know there's a lot of other fighters that are coming um, out of the woodwork to fight, and they're aged.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. Like there's this female fighter, I think she's 49 years old, or
Wow.
she's either 49 or 50, Mia St. John. I don't know if you've heard of her, but
Vaguely sounds familiar.
yeah, Mia St. John, she made a name because, she was very beautiful, sexy. Um, back in the day, she's fought like the likes of Christy Martin,
Oh, yes, I know who the
yes,
young lady is. Yes, yes, yes.
yes. Now she made an announcement that she's coming out of retirement next year. And I'm like, okay,
I- I-
okay.
in order to do what?
To fight. She's gonna fight. She's coming out of retirement to fight at 49 or 50 years old.
Okay, okay. Born in the 24th of June, 1967, at age is 53 years of age.
Oh, 53. Okay.
I mean, I'll tell you what, if we're looking at some sort of Champions League, like a Legends Seniors League, then I've got no issue with that.
She
People,
said legends.
you know what I mean? People
Yeah.
who of that sort of age, of that kind of
Mhm.
experience, fighting each other. I don't think it's wise for any of these athletes who are 40 plus, depending obviously what sport it is and the kind of damage you've taken, to be fighting these up and coming, quote unquote killers. I think it's just not the right thing for them to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think like how they had it in the amateurs, they had like a senior division. I
Yeah.
think they should have a senior division after a certain age. I just I just don't think your brain is different now at when you're older, and I don't care
Ev-
how experienced you are or how much of a killer you were back then. Your brain is different.
Everything is different.
Oh yeah.
Time is a very, it can be very unforgiven to the human anatomy and to the mind, to the spirit, and to the soul. So,
Right.
you've got to enjoy these experiences whilst where we can, whilst we're youthful, especially being, fighters. And I totally understand to a point, because I'm not a professional prize fighter myself, but I can understand the joy and the excitement and everything that comes along with it. But you've got to be realistic, especially if you've got a family and children, etc. You want to be
Yeah.
there for the long haul. You want to be successful, have all of the highs, have the lows, but have as many highs as possible and leave whilst you're kind of compass mentis and you haven't got CTE and all kind of different kind of issues.
Yeah, yeah. That CT. I can just imagine what the boxers' brains look like after a CT scan.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's right, but it's for our entertainment and pleasure, and it's for them, for the fighters, as I say, who have that desire to compete, um, and to show that physically and mentally they are sharper than another person, within sanctioned rules. I totally get it. I totally get it, but it's very detrimental.
Yeah. Very. I agree.
That's the real side to it. That's the real side to it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So do you see this Conor McGregor talk reference Pacquiao actually manifesting in its real sense?
As far as the Pacquiao fight,
Yeah. Do you think that's actually going to
no,
happen?
no, it is going to happen. It is. Pacquiao talked about that they're going to sign. It's going to happen next year.
Okay. So I guess that's what. Okay. So that okay. So
Pacquiao said he wants it, and you know how McGregor, he's really good at manifesting fights that he speaks into the universe. So
Mystic Mac.
yeah, yeah. So I'm not too sure if he's going to speak into a victory.
Slim to none, I would suggest. I mean, he's a talented mixed martial artist, most definitely. Well,
Pacquiao still has it. Pacquiao has not lost a beat.
no.
He has not slowed down. Although he's 40 now, he has not slowed down one bit.
Connor's got some power, but that's not going to matter at all.
That ain't gonna matter. Have you seen his shadow boxing videos?
I have seen some. I have seen some, and
I mean, I was tagged um, in a video the other day, and I was watching him shadow box, and they were like, "What do you think?"
what's he
And I'm
doing?
like, no, I was just like, because he was so slow and he was punching so wide, and I'm like, yeah, that's McGregor punching Pacquiao after Pacquiao done hit him with a 30 punch combination, and he
Yeah.
left and McGregor doesn't even know that he's gone. Yeah.
It's yeah. I really think he needs to just. The UFC clearly lets him do whatever he wants, but he needs to do one thing, kind of one discipline. If he's going to do that, allow other fighters to be able to have the opportunity to have boxing fights with big stars and all that kind of stuff, if that's their choice. It's
It-
you know.
well, MMA fighters want to get rich off of boxers because, as you know, UFC doesn't pay them very well.
Hmm.
In boxing, you get paid very, very well in boxing. And a lot of UFC fighters are trying to call out, Mayweather because they want to make that money. Now, do they really think they could beat these fighters? Like really think this? No. Like, who called out? I think, was it Francis
Yep.
Nagano called out? Who was that guy from England that he called out? Not for me.
Anthony
No,
Joshua.
Tyson Fury. He's not for me.
Oh,
Tyson Fury.
was it Fury he called that?
Yes, he called out
Okay.
Fury, and Fury was just like, okay. He's like, okay, come on, like, okay.
Well, okay. Since and I actually thought it was Joshua who we called out, but out of the two, if Ngannou was to fight any of those two, who would he have a better chance against?
Neither. But if I
Neither.
had to choose, I would say Joshua.
I would say the same thing as well.
I would say Joshua, only because, you know, um, Joshua comes out a little bit slower. He
Hmm.
takes his time, and he doesn't throw a lot of combinations. Um, Tyson, he's going to come out. He's going to try to hammer you the first jab. Like, he's just going to want to kill you. Yeah, he'll. Not that I say he has a better chance against Joshua, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you've highlighted, I think it's due to what the Ali Act, isn't it? Why the fighters were able to be more evenly compensated in the boxing realm.
Yeah. You know, I think they want to get paid. And so that's why they go to boxing. Just like women go to UFC because they want to be recognized and get paid. It's the opposite for women.
Oh, of course, because female boxing isn't the as lucrative as male boxing, is it?
Not at all. Not at all.
That's why Clarissa was talking about
Going to MMA.
yeah.
It's kind of crazy. If Clarissa Shields can learn wrestling, because for some reason for boxers to go into wrestling, it's so much easier. That's probably one. That's it's just um, it's just one sport I think that the boxers can identify quicker is wrestling.
Hmm.
If Clarissa could find, because she's very aggressive,
Yes.
if she could give 2 years of wrestling and learn takedown defense and learn even jiu-jitsu defense or whatever, I
Hmm.
think she could be good in MMA. I think she could be good because she um, honestly her hands are are
Yeah,
good.
very good.
I think she could do something with it.
it's better she's prepared to dedicate that time.
Yeah, she would just have to learn, dedicate at least a good 2-3 years on the
Mm,
ground game.
it'd be
If she wants to be
interesting.
successful, if she wants to be successful.
Well, I think being an athlete and a competitor, of course, that's the only thing. Unless you may be on your way out and all you're looking for is like the money grab. I think that it would be the most um, straightforward thing to do. Is to foundationally, let's look at some grappling, let's look at some wrestling, maybe a little bit of jiu-jitsu. Once I'm proficient and confident, maybe I could do a few
Yeah.
amateurs. Let's see, feel it out, kind of thing. But again, if you go with that big name into an amateur MMA fight and lose, what does that do for your confidence? What does that do for your brands?
You know, um, Clarissa, she's a huge, competitor. She was on that show with, oh God, what's that actor's name? The Rock. Have
Okay.
you seen his show? Um, it's not the Ninja Warrior.
It's that kind of assault course, endurance kind of
Yes,
thing. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So The Rock, he had a lot of athletes. He had MMA fighters, boxers. He just had like a lot of athletes to come on that show to compete against just normal people.
Hmm.
And Clarissa was on that, and she lost twice.
Ah,
So yeah, but again, that's not fighting,
yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
It's a
And
competition though.
but
Uh,
it's competition.
yeah.
But to say that I beat Clarissa Shields in this, that's a big thing. So I think with MMA, she's gonna have a good management team, and they're gonna feed her the right fights.
Mm, just to get that confidence up, because with, as you say, with boxing, that's exactly what's done to bolster and pad those 20 and O's and
Yeah,
all of those wonderful records.
right, right, right.
So to wind up, what are you who are you going for October for this Lomo?
What? I want to go for my people because he is Lopez, and I always
Yes.
love to go for my people. But if I was betting, I'm gonna bet for Lomo.
And Lomo is a betting favorite, right?
He is the betting favorite right now. Right, yeah, Lopez is the underdog. I just think that I do think Lopez is a lot stronger than Lomo, but Lomo is faster. He's quick. He's swift on his feet. I'm looking at him right now. I'm looking at
Yeah.
his footwork. He's going to get in and out. Um, I think he is going to be careful with Lopez as far as trying to, stand in there and bang with Lopez. But I think at one point that he might frustrate Lopez because he's so quick and he switches on, he'll hit those angles that
Mm,
Lopez is going to come out swinging and leave himself open.
agreed. Agreed. That's going to be the tipping point. It's frustration. Someone's
Yeah.
going to be frustrated to the point where they're going to start making one or two more mistakes, and that's going to be
Hmm.
the point where it starts to turn for the other.
Yes, yes, I think so. It's either Lopez is going to get frustrated because of Loma's footwork, or Loma's going to get frustrated because, Lopez is going to be on him. Like, yeah, he's going to be on him. Now, I was going to say, I don't know if we can cuss on
Yeah,
this, but
go for
yeah,
it. Come
he's
on.
going to be on Loma like shit on fly, like flies on shits.
Definitely. That's what we like. Because these are two fighters. We
Yeah,
don't, we want to see the technique, but we want to see, them actually go for it, not just
they're
stay on
gonna,
the
yeah.
outside, get a few points here and there. Obviously, there's going to be a feeling out process, but to gauge range, distance, etc. But we want to
But
see
Loma
fight.
doesn't, yeah, Lopez don't fight like that, and Loma doesn't fight like that at
Mm,
all. Lomo, even though he has great footwork, he does apply pressure. As you
yes,
can see right now, he's applying pressure. Lomo is a pressure fighter as well, but I think Lomo for this fight, he's not going to come forward.
a stalemate maybe.
Hmm.
I'm like yourself. I like Lomo as well.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but I love underdogs. I
Oh yeah.
you've got to pick an underdog. So against my better judgment, not even so much my better judgment, I'm going for the underdog. I always pick the
You go for
underdogs.
Lopez.
So
Okay.
Lopez, I'm going for a Lopez.
I can't. I can't be mad at that. It doesn't matter who wins for me. Lopez or Loma, I like them both. It's just going to be a good night for the fight fans for sure.
And one very last thing, what do you see after in
Um,
regards to for the winner? Who's next in line?
as far as after, let's put it this way: if Lopez wins,
Hmm.
this would do amazing things for his career. Okay,
Catapult him.
yeah. If Lomo loses, it's gonna be a couple step backs for him.
Would he stay
That's
within
what
this? Would he stay within the same weight division?
I think. Yeah, he'll still stay in the same weight division, but he's gonna the pressure's on Lomo more than on Lopez.
Oh yeah, that is the biggest thing. I think
Hmm.
as a champion, you've always, you're there. Everyone wants that spot. As this young
Hmm.
up and comer, all he's
Yeah.
got to lose is the fights. He's got everything to win, absolutely everything.
Yes. Yes. Everything. But other than that, it's gonna be a great night come October 17th.
Mark it in the calendars. Mark it in the
Yes.
calendars. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. Where can everybody get hold of you? Throw those social medias out, and I'll put them obviously in the description box.
Yeah, definitely. You can catch us on, you can catch Global Fight Talk on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Global Fight Talk. Yeah, just follow us. And I want to appreciate, you, CFR Sports, to having me on. Yeah, we're going to be doing this on a monthly. I guess we could go ahead and announce it, right? We're going to be doing this on a
Yes.
monthly basis. Show.
Exactly. So yes, it's been an excellent inaugural episode number 1, and we shall see how the fight unfolds. And can't wait for episode 2, and we'll try and bring some interesting topics and points of view in
Yeah,
the fight game.
I need to come up with something like an introduction for Texas to let them know that I'm from Texas. And I don't know, I was thinking maybe like, hey y'all, I don't
Yes.
know. Hey y'all, this is Lisa. Just
Welcome
kidding.
to the great state of Texas,
Yeah,
man.
from Texas. Hey y'all, this is Lisa from Texas.
From
The
Texas.
CFR Sports.
Yeah, that'll be good. I think that'll be real good.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that in the next one. Put my little Texas swang in it.
Definitely. Well, everybody like, comment, subscribe, and most definitely share.
Yes, share.